Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode number 6 of turning £100 into £10,000 by the end of summer just by reselling on Vinted. Now, if you're new here, for the last sort of month and a half, I've been flipping trainers on Vinted. I started with £100 and I bought 6 pairs. I then sold them, bought more, sold them, bought more, and so on through episode 1 to 5, and we're now in episode 6. We have done a total revenue of just under £2,200, and at the end of the last episode, we had just under £800 to spend on more stock. So, as usual, I hopped straight onto the KaiKicks Vinted monitor and sat there and waited for the steals to roll through. And because KaiKicks Vinted monitor allows me to set up my own search filters and terms on the private channel, which all members can do, it makes it so easy for me to find steals. And a couple hours later, I'd spent the majority of the budget and bought 45 different pairs. As I'm speaking now, all the pairs I've bought are popping up across the screen. Now, I don't know them all off the top of my head. There's 45 different ones. It's very different to me reading out 13 at the start of episode 2, for example. So they're still on the screen right now. You can pause it at any point. All of these were actually bought on the monitor using the auto buy. It's honestly game changing. Now, this is not promo, but for anyone that has been asking me what monitor I use, it is this one right here. Now, I've spoken to Kai, and he's agreed to let me give all of you guys your first month for £5. So if you want to test it out, hit the link in the description of this video and use the code SAM, and you'll get your first month of the Vinted monitor for just £5. And realistically, you're going to be able to make that back off one flip very, very easily. So if you're interested, give it a go. If you're not, continue watching the video. And if you haven't already, I'm going to remind you early on, if you're enjoying this series, if it's the first time you've watched it, don't worry about this. But if you've watched it more than one time probably, over like 70% of you are not subscribed. So if you have watched this series and you are enjoying it and you are learning, because I get loads of messages from you guys, which is amazing, hit that subscribe button. Simple as that. Anyway, now I'll check back in when the pairs have begun to arrive.
2 days later.
Pretty much the majority of the orders have literally arrived in one sitting. So let's start cracking these open. Oh my god. No, that's awful. I'm gonna be sick. That is honestly, genuinely, that is the worst smelling thing I've ever opened. Like, it just hit me as soon as I opened the packet. That is, oh my god, what the oh my god, that is so bad. Oh, that is so lovely, look at that. Like a nice little bow. And they've left, thank you so much for buying from my Vinted. Hope you enjoy your new shoes. Thank you, darling. I'm going to make some nice profit on them. Okay, so now let me show you the shoes. First up, we have got these two. Well, the uppers on these are cooked. I feel like a washing machine could do absolute wonders, which is why I'm happy to take the risk. Worst case, just make a smaller margin. And then these. And then we've also got these 97s, which I'm either going to take a partial or return. And then I got these pairs stuffed and laced so that they are ready to be photographed and listed. So the first 6 pairs are all cleaned, prepped, photographed, and now they're going to get listed. And I've also got some good news for you guys. So the Air Max 97s, these ones that arrived yesterday, obviously the heel was separated. The seller gave me a full refund and said, do whatever you want with them. So quite badly, I super glued the heel back on. My fingers are now covered in glue. But we're going to also chuck these up for a cheap price. Thankfully, the bubble, now that it's actually glued back on, is not as soft as it was. Obviously, there's a lot more support. So we'll get them listed for a cheap steal. And I'll obviously make sure people know they've been re-glued and stuff. But other than that, Hopefully some of these sell. Kind of perfect timing, eh? The next batch of pairs have arrived. Air Max 95 grey jewels. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you a clip of when I bought these on the monitor as I was chilling in bed watching Netflix. I don't ever really show the auto buy. I'll quickly show this one. Obviously, got those grey jewels. I'm just kind of watching Netflix whilst I'm on here. Just looking for stock, just sitting here with my laptop open. So this is the pair I got. It's just some grey jewels. And as you can see, like, super easy to buy on the monitor. So shout out to Kai Kicks. These Air Max 270 in the bread colorway. However, I have noticed that flaw there. I started, obviously, broadening what I'm buying. So we got some New Balance 2002s. I think these are Superfly 9s. If I'm not mistaken, Superfly 9 Pros. And the next ones we got are these grey fogs. You have to trust me, these are the Jordan 3 Racer Blues. Air Max 95, these came out not too long ago on Sneakers Day. These are the Unearthed. As usual, I'm going to get to cleaning, and once I'm done with that, we'll get to prepping and photos. And as usual, I cracked on with taking stock photos. We have got another sale. It's been quite a while since we sold stuff. So before I tell you what these sold for, I did spend £9.95 on spotlighting the wardrobe in hope that it does increase sales as we have got a lot of stock coming in. So that's an expense, I suppose. But yeah, we sold these TN Terrascapes for £45. Now, if you remember, these were just £13 or £14, I believe. So a nice profit on these, 30 odd quid profit. And we've also got more parcels to collect. So I'm going to take these and then we're going to do a little transition and then just like this. And I am back with loads more parcels. I don't really want to unbox these all on camera. It's just going to take me too long. So I'm going to quickly unbox these all and then I'll show you what's arrived. Okay, so these are all the new arrivals. We've got these 95s, these TN Greedies. We've got some Dunk Lows. We've got some interesting shocks. We have got some OG Mercs from like 2010. We've got some Spezials here, some Samba XLG, 270 Air Max 90s, Jordan 1 mids, some 97s here, and then Huaraches. So I'm going to get to cleaning as many of these as I can. So whilst I've been cleaning those pairs, we actually made 2 more sales. These blue Mercurials sold for £33. If you remember, we paid just over £8.50 on these. And also these Beetroot 95 sold for £125. I think we bought these 2 episodes ago for just under £45. So obviously a huge 80 odd pound profit on these. And then the Mercurial is a £23 profit or something like that, £25 profit. So 2 big profits. While all the pairs that I've just cleaned in literally the clip before are drying, I'm going to go and drop these ones off. And we have more parcels to collect, of course. So I'm going to get these packed up right now and then we'll drop them off. And I'm back from the post office with a bunch more parcels. I'm going to unbox these ones off camera just because it's a lot quicker. So I'm going to show them to you in 3, 2, 1. And so the first 2 pairs we got are these black TNs and these React Visions. These were £13.50 and these were about £13.50 as well. Then we've got these Air Max 90s, which are about £12, and these Dunk Lows, which are about £13. And finally, we got these Pegasus Trail Gore-Tex and then these Huaraches. I think both of these were under £15 each. As you can see, the cheaper shoes are what is selling best for us. We're able to buy a lot of them and then all the margins add up. We are waiting on, I think, a P6000 and then another TN. Other than that, everything else has arrived. Obviously, if you've noticed, sales have kind of slowed down a bit. I don't know if it's because it's the time of the month or just Vinted are having their problems. So obviously one of the main bits of preparation is getting all the shoes laced so they look good in the photos. This definitely helps sales. Then after that, we do the photos. As simple as that. I don't remember if I even showed this in the video, but these arrived and they have massive holes in the heels. So obviously I asked for a return. The seller said you can just have a refund on them. So we got these ones for free. We should be able to get 20, 25 on them. And then one more pair did arrive, which was these P6000s. So I think we're just waiting on one more pair now, which is pretty good. Anyway, I don't know what we're doing right now, but we're about to go and do something. Now, that one pair we were waiting on were these TNs. Unfortunately, the seller never shipped them, so that order got cancelled and refunded. So after that refund and the refund on those damaged Air Max 90s that we end up getting for free, the current money in the bank is £66.79. So I just did a tilt live and we sold 14 pairs. Now, I know I haven't even shown you the payouts from the first tilt live I did. I will show that in this episode. I just had to wait to get paid out and then some discounts and stuff to get reimbursed. Now that's all sorted, we can work that out and I'll show you that later in today's episode. But for now, let's go through the 14 pairs I sold. Bear in mind, every single sale price is before shipping and fees, so there is that to consider. These Air Max 95s sold for £25.50. These sold for £20. These sold for £45.50. These sold for £34. These sold for £22.50. These sold for £25.50. These sold for £31.50. These sold for £32.50. These sold for £108.50. These sold for £35. These sold for £23.50. These sold for £35.50. These sold for £17.50 and these sold for £25.50. So just under £500 in revenue, which is great. It's money back in the bank. That's all that matters. I think I profited on everything. Even if I made £5 on average, you know, that's still a good profit. Regardless, and we've cleared out 14 pairs and got another nearly 500 quid back into the bank. So I need to go and get these packed up and dropped off. I mean, it is the evening now, so they'll get dropped tomorrow. And we have made 2 more sales and some big ones. So I'm going to show you. First pair are these Air Max 95 unearthed. If you remember, they literally are not used. They were probably tried on, if that. And I sold them for £120. And then the second ones are these Specials that we paid £13 on and they sold for £38. So I'm going to go and get these posted right now. And we have sold another 2 pairs. It has been really slow, I'll be honest with you. But we did sell these TNs for £33. And then these Phantom Nike GTs for £15. Honestly, I paid 8 quid on these. So about 85% return. And they're actually more cooked than I thought. And then these, I think these are about £13 or £15. So only £30 or so profit on these. But profit is better than nothing. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think I've been buying that smartly in this series. I think that might be a bit of an issue with moving stock. So I've kind of decided I'm going to ride this episode out a couple more days, see what happens, see if we can get some more sales. There's still another 5 or so pairs to list. So get them listed today as I'm recording this and kind of just see what happens really, because yeah, it feels like it's been a bit slow in this episode in terms of sales, like compared to the other series. You know, we're doing like 20 to 40 sales on Vinted an episode. That doesn't even include Tilt. I suppose we did sell some pairs on Tilt. But this is a pretty quick one. These are all the Tilt sales from, I believe it was the last episode where we sold all of these on Tilt. Now, obviously, this is what I paid. This is what I sold. And then this was the profit. Now, obviously, on them, 15p is not ideal. Then we did have a couple good ones, like 46 on the Ep.6, 36 on the MX95. That was a bit low. I mean, some of them are low, but we did manage to get rid of a bunch of different pairs. So we made another £180 profit of that. And another £350 in the bank.
2 days later.
So it has been a couple days, and we only made 2 more sales, which is fine. Bit of a slower episode, but we sold these Vaporflies for £40. And then these Specials sold for £28. So around £40 profit off these 2. Nice way to end the episode. Now let's go over to the screen and look at how much money we have made and how much money we got for the next episode. So obviously this is everything that has sold from episode 1 up to now. This is all the sales from episode 6, everything in grey. So obviously these are paid tilt sales from last episode, and then this is everything from Vinted. Total revenue for this episode is £751 and profit is £433. So that profit is 4x what we started with just 5 episodes ago in episode 1. We have a couple pending sales. By pending sales, I mean they just haven't been paid out. So we've got the Black Tiens, Phantoms, the Vaporflies and the Specials, which obviously you would have just seen, which result in another £66 of profit. Now let's see what our budget is for episode number 7. As you can see, the total revenue is £2,927 and 40 pence. So we change that. And if you haven't seen this before, let me explain. In the first episode, we spent £96.04. We had £3.96 left. Therefore, our total balance is this balance plus this revenue. This is our new revenue at the end of this episode. Therefore, our total balance is £2,931.36. And then you minus that off total spend. So that's everything from episode 1 to the end of episode 6. So we now have £818.18. So far, we have 8x'd the amount of money we have, and that is going to be our starting budget for episode 7. Guys, I hope you did enjoy that episode. I know sales weren't as high, but this is the real side of it. This is the reality of, you know, reselling. Sometimes some weeks are a little bit slower. I actually filmed for about 12 days for this episode, and yeah, it's the longest I've filmed, and it just seems to be the slowest period ever. It's fine. It is what it is. So we're going to end this one here, and I'll see you very soon for episode number 7. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. God bless.